Intrepid viewers, I'm wearing my war correspondent's outfit because in this reading we're off to the Middle East. Very timely reading, obviously, because like the rest of the world, I was stunned to hear yesterday that Trump announced that ISIS has been defeated. An extraordinary statement. So it's left the world reeling. And when I first saw it, I thought, probably like many of you, I thought he's doing it as a favour to Putin, you know. But it's also a major favour to Assad, who's allegedly the enemy, and Iran, who he has punished with dreadful sanctions on the Iranian people. So abdicating that role in Syria is bizarre. And did he do it for that reason, or did he do it just to change the news cycle? Did he do it because he's pissed off with General Mattis, who is leaving in February? That's a real worry. And it's like he's just leapt into the deep end of the pool without his floaties. You know, already the Allies are, totally freaked out by his behaviour, but to unilaterally withdraw the troops via tweet has to be unprecedented. But American viewers and others, who knew the president had these sort of powers? We all knew the president is nominally the chief, the commander-in-chief, but that's what it is. It's a nominal title. Every other president has taken advice on military matters from the Pentagon. That's why they are there. And to not even consult the Pentagon, who knew that a president could actually do this? It's beyond comprehension. Absolutely beyond comprehension. So now we're going to look at what the loofah-faced baboon is doing in the Middle East. So we'll have a quick general look and then break it down a bit. What is happening with Trump and the Middle East? The Middle East, of course, is shorthand for many countries, and part of the problem is we have this colonial leftover of referring to it collectively as the Middle East, when in fact all these countries have conflicting agendas, so it's very complex. Oh, there he is, the Emperor is turned up. Oh, well, for a generic look at what is happening, this spread is massively revealing. So, Trump the Emperor, right, he has these pharaonic tendencies of you only exist at my behest and by my good graces. I have absolute power, which is what he is exercising because the GOP is collectively sedated into submission, and he's profoundly isolated. In other contexts, the hermit can be shining a light on something deeply mysterious. I don't think there's any light to be shone. It's in the centre here, and it is talking to his isolation. What's over this reading? The devil. So this could be Trump locked into his relationship with Putin. That could well be part of it. But it's like Trump himself has turned into this demonic figure who is dismantling not only the pillars of American democracy, but making the whole world unstable. And speaking of the world, this is him, the Emperor, thinking, I'm not only the Emperor of America, I am the Emperor of the world. We used to call it the free world. That was laughable now. Holding the world in his hands. He's holding the world to ransom. So why is he holding the world hostage? It's because he feels like a hostage in the White House. He knows every day brings him closer to ruin and obscurity, and for a narcissist, this is an end game. So he's in deep panic. He has already made obvious he's in league with Russia over this, and he's prepared to do whatever it takes, including destroying the NATO pact and everything else, because he can. It's absolutely extraordinary. Oh my God. So that's the general tone, because he, of course, could not name 4 countries in the Middle East if his life depended on it. He'd run out after Israel and Saudi Arabia. But, oh my God. And he's spending more and more of his day. Apparently the diaries are absolutely empty. It's all just executive time. We know what that means, executive time, don't we? I mean, America is now being ruled by a narcissistic drug addict. I do. Have I not said for months, intrepid viewers, medication, medication, medication? And now the story is out that he is a speed buff. No, I don't drink alcohol, but yes, speed. Not good, not good. Anyone who's lived around anybody who has a speed addiction knows how vulgar, vile, and aggressive they are. How profoundly unreasonable. There is no way to reach them, and that explains a lot of his behaviour. So, Israel is not happy with this. So let's look quickly at Trump and Israel. Netanyahu's on the skids. He's facing corruption charges, could go to jail. This, of course, involves Kushner. Oh, what fell out? Oh, the pact with Israel. It'll be all right as far as America's relationship with Israel. This was the original pact. Israel understands it is dealing with a fool who is going to walk off the cliff, and frankly, even though Israel has benefited from the Trump/Kushner relationship, it can't come soon enough. Okay? They actually want him out of the picture. Enough helping, thank you, Donald, no more helping. So although they're pissed off short term with this, because it means ISIS has been given a carte blanche to run amok in neighbouring countries, of course they're not happy with this. But the sooner he retreats, the better. But the outcome short term, it'll be all right. It's got a history, the lovers. That will be okay. Now I want to look at Saudi. And so to look at that, post-Khashoggi and everything else, where he shamelessly backed the Crown Prince. Actually, I'm not even going to bother with Trump in this. I'm going to look at Kushner and Saudi Arabia. What's happening there? Because that's what Trump is responding to, Kushner's behaviour. Kushner and the Saudis. Yes, everything friendly. Oh, how ironic. Yes. Oh, that relationship's going to change. At the moment, temperance. You give me things, I'll give you things. Like the $100 million for the Kushner investment that he went there for. This is the relationship that both Kushner personally and Trump personally have benefited from. So when Trump hotels were going downhill, the Saudis came and spent millions under the guise of, oh, we're just going to stay in that hotel. But no one does that for nothing. They got influence via Kushner to Trump, which has already been demonstrated by Mueller, who has turned up in this reading, interestingly enough. Mueller is using the mechanisms of the court system in relation to Kushner, because this is Kushner's mini reading, and the Saudis, as well as Trump and the Saudis. And I think he's got the goods. This, I think, is Jared trying to row off into the sunset, away from conflict, only to find the swords are in front of him. Why do I think this relationship's going to change? Because the Eight of Wands. Things are going to change, and they're going to change quickly. Now, let's get a clarifier on what that change will look like. These people. What is the change in the relationship going to be about? Change in the relationship with Saudi. Change in the relationship with Saudi. The Tower. And disappointment. I'm sorry, viewers. I do. It's going to be a catastrophic change, not just a little bit of a change, a catastrophic change. Now, it's like Mueller indicting the 13 Russians. Russia's not going to give them up. They're going to go on business as usual. It's the same. He'll be able to name individual Saudi players. They're not going to have the catastrophe. This is the Trump Tower catastrophe. Right. Right. Now, the longer term outcome, disappointment. Well, yes. Hello. You cannot do all these illegal things that they've been doing routinely for decades. Right? Now, both Trump Jr., Kushner, they took in corruption with their Cocoa Pops as children. They have been brought up to assume it is normal. If you can get away with it, it must be legal. That's Giuliani's position, isn't it? There's no such thing as a white-collar crime anymore. If you're not killing people, it's not a crime. He's actually saying these demented things, and it's like they genuinely still believe it. But the Saudi relationship is going to impact in an unforeseen way. The Eight of Wands is sudden, but it also brings unforeseen change. We'll be watching for it, but it's going to be a surprise to many when the Tower does finally come apart, piece by piece. Don't you love the crown there? I love that bit. So digest that imagery, viewers. So I do want to thank you all for your comments. I love the comments. I read everyone, so please keep them coming in. And if you would like a reading, email me. The email's on each video. And I'm getting to bond with you all face to face, which I'm really adoring. So that's your intrepid war correspondent with the Middle East reading. So all the best. Yuletide greetings and beyond. Bye for now.